What is up, y'all? Okay. Hello, hello, hello. Oh, dang. Okay. It doesn't. Hi, guys. Hi. Okay, can you guys invite like everybody? Because for some reason on my computer, it doesn't let me do that. So, hello. Okay, so I want to talk to you guys. I had this like epiphany, okay? So, most everyone has heard from, or somebody, about our Emerald bonus, charting to whatever the next rank is, ambassador, whatever the heck, okay? So we've all been talking. So if you're new, you don't know any other type of leadership than the one I'm about to describe. But if you're a veteran, you've seen it, you felt it, you know there's been a difference, you know there's been a change, you know that like just the tides have changed. What like we used to do, we don't do anymore. And what we're doing now is completely different. And if you have not been exposed to the push page, like if you were never exposed to the push page, then this might be like new information to you. But for those of you who were, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So this is what happened. I have had a really tough weekend, like just a tough parenting weekend. I've had a tough just like life weekend. It just seemed like everybody was just like getting in my way. My internet wouldn't work. My kids just, life was just happening with kids and like this is happening, that's happening. There's all this crap's happening, right? And so when I get so frustrated and so overwhelmed that like I have a million things to do, I do nothing. And then I go usually either garden or write or whatever. So today I was gardening and I'm sitting there, right? And I'm picking apart all these dead leaves and I'm cleaning up all this junk, right? Off of like the bottom floor of my like gardening bed, right? And I start looking around at the plants. And it occurred to me, when I started my garden, there was nothing in it. It wasn't even dirt, okay? It was just rock, all right? It wasn't, if somebody walked into my backyard, and they told me this several times, that my backyard was never going to be a place that anything could grow, okay? And that is similar to my life. And it might be similar to several of your lives. There may be people in your life that told you, that looked at your life, that looked at your situation and told you that you were going to be a certain thing, okay? That you were going to be something. Whether that was what you wanted or not is something different, but hold on, sorry. So whether you found that to be acceptable or not is a different story. Maybe they told you you weren't good enough. Maybe they told you that you weren't going to go anywhere. Maybe, like me, they told you that there would be no garden. My neighbor was one of those people. He told me that I would never grow anything in my garden. And I looked at my husband and I was like, that guy doesn't know what he's talking about. He said, you know, whatever, all the strawberries are going to die. I'm like, he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. I'm going to build a garden and my strawberries are going to grow, right? Okay, so I have no idea what I was doing. I have zero experience. I have no green thumb. You guys, look at my nails, okay? Like, not a gardener, okay? I came into this business with no experience. I'm an accountant, okay? I don't know anything about health and wellness. I didn't know anything about social media. I knew one thing. I needed money, and that is it. I needed to make it. Period. I knew nothing else. I had no prerequisites, okay? I knew nothing. So you're probably wondering like, what the hell all this means, right? Okay, so first, what I had to do is prep my land to become a garden. And sometimes in this business, we join this business and we got to prep ourselves, right? Like we come in and we don't know anything about this business. We don't know what the hell to do. We're like lost in translation somewhere, okay? So I had to prep the land. That meant that I had to clear out the rock. That meant that I had to put a watering system in. That meant I had to buy good soil, okay? That means that when you start this business, you have to do a few things. That's why our new distributor training teaches you organization. Because in the long run, if my garden didn't have water it couldn't sustain itself for very long. In the long run, if you're not organized, you're not going to sustain yourself for very long. You just won't. It won't happen. That's why, as monotonous and as annoying as it is, that is why your new distributor training tells you how to make alarms. It teaches you how to organize yourself. It explains to you how to do all of those things. It's because I have done this already. I have already failed for you. I know that if you're not organized, it won't last long. That's why it's like that, okay? So I prep my land, right? You get all that crap out of there. That I had to invest a lot of money. In this business, though, when you're getting organized, you're investing a lot of time. And time is money because you can't get it back, okay? So my garden is prepped, right? All right, cool. I got the dirt in. I got like, you know, the little like seed leaf things. I had to do some research. And sometimes you have to do that too. You start the business, you got to do research. You have a product video to watch, y'all. You need to know even just the basics of what the heck you are sharing, selling, whatever you want to call it. You need to know that our flagship product is the wrap. You need to know that the defining gel and the wrap go together. You need to know that you can't drink the cleanse when it's frozen. Like, these are things that you do need to know. Do you need to know everything? No. Do you need to know every single ingredient in every single product? No, you don't. You don't. But you need to know the basics. When you're gardening, you need to know, when do I plant my plants? Like, that's something that you need to know, right? Because if you plant them in the wrong season, they're going to die. So if you, it's almost like you do no research whatsoever. Like, I get it. Like, ignorance on fire, right, is better than like intelligence on ice, or whatever Joel's saying is. But the thing is, you still need the basics. Like, if you don't know that our flagship product is the wrap, then you really, really need to open up eSuite. Like, you really need to open up eSuite, for real. So, okay, next topic. All right, land is prepped, okay? I pick my plants. I wanted a diverse group of plants, okay? I already knew that because I like a lot of different things. But that is similar to our business. The reason for that is because a successful business and a successful garden has several different things happening to it. Your business is the same thing. If I had an entire team full of all red, truly red personalities, you guys, there'd be way too many chiefs and not enough Indians. Like, for real, everybody would want to be telling everybody else what to do. And like, you just can't have that. Like, you just can't. There has to be like some sort of like centralized leadership, whether it's a group of people, you know, it's like 4 or 5 of us, but it can't be 300 of us, you know? So that's what I mean by you need diversity. And when I tell you as diamond or up leaders, like, find diversity on your team, is because if you have an entire team of yellow personalities, so like super kind and don't want to, you know, be upfront with anybody, getting to where you want to go as far as goals go is going to be difficult because you're all one personality. You need diversity, okay? So my garden needed diversity, right? I wanted grapes, I wanted blackberries, I wanted strawberries. Even though my neighbor told me that they were all going to die, I was very keen on the fact that I had to have strawberries, okay? That had to happen. I wanted jalapenos, basil, those things I wanted for sure. I also wanted to really grow pumpkins, okay? This is important because in my mind, I was like, I wanted beautiful, big, thick stalks of like pumpkin just coming off of like the top of I made a planter box. And I wanted these big stalks coming off. I invested like a dream into these pumpkins, right? That's important because sometimes we sign somebody and we invest in them. We love on them. We invested them. We see a future with them. We see them in VIP with us, okay? I'm going to come back to that. So when you're starting your garden, a few things can happen. You can either plant a plant that's already like grown and you just got to plant it, or you plant a smaller plant that's like kind of sort of there, or you plant seeds, okay? Now, this is my analogy, okay? Seeds are the people in this business that have zero experience and don't know what the hell network marketing is. They have no idea what they're doing, okay? They're seeds. They need a lot of love, okay? They need help. They need nurturing. They need good soil. They need good information. They need you to love on them because they're a seed, okay? Now, if you get like a middle plant, right? It's like, it's not mature, but it has like some roots, okay? Most of us are planting those ones, okay? Those are the people that have like seen network marketing on Facebook. They have a general idea of like how to use social media. Like they're generally like on that kind of path. They're moldable, they're teachable, they're like, they want to learn, they might be a little unsure, they still need love and attention, but they don't have to be like loved on as much as a seed, because they're like kind of stable-ish. And then you get the every once in a while person who is a plant. They are a plant already. They either came from another company and they know what the hell they're doing, or they're just already like an inspiring person. They already have a presence on social media. They're a networker. Like they already have all of that, even though they've never been in a company. You guys, those people are far and few in between. Everybody is looking for full-grown plants, and the nurseries have middle plants and seeds. You guys see what I'm saying? Like everybody wants like the people that already know what they're doing, because then we don't have to do any work, right? Like we could just sign up, like you need 5 people in this business on your top line to make you a millionaire. Everybody wants to find 5 full plants, so we don't have to put in any work in, right? Like I need to see like some hearts or like something laughing at me, and I know that's true. Everybody joins this business and they're like, I don't want to have to like work super hard. Most of us are like, I just want to find my 5 people. I just want to find my 5 people. Okay, that's not the case. That's not the case. Sometimes we find maybe 1 full plant. So for me in my garden, I don't know anything about grapes. So I bought full, like mature grape plants. They already were in like season and they were just mature, okay? We planted those on the back, all right? My poor grapevines, what started to happen to my grapevines was this. They were already full and mature and I didn't think they needed me. I'm like, they're gonna do their own thing. They don't need me. I don't have to give them any tender love and care. They already have all the water and soil they need. I don't need to pick off the dead leaves. I don't need to, spray the pesticide. I don't need to do any of that. I don't. I thought that they're a full plant. I don't gotta do anything. But you know what started to happen? What started to happen is I never checked in on that plant. I never checked in on the grapes. So what started to happen is, here's my grapevine. The other vines, instead of growing up onto my wall, they started growing down to the floor. They looked very sad. I thought I was gonna have to cut all those branches off. My son's nanny, Margot, she was like, no, you don't need to cut those off. Do you know what she did? Instead of cutting the plants off, okay, I was like, chop them off, whatever, I'm done with them. Instead of cutting it off, she tied them together so that she could lift them up, okay? So that she could lift them up. She told me that a year ago. Today when I was looking at my garden, I know you guys think I'm crazy. I'm about to get emotional about this, okay? I was looking at my garden, and you want to know what was the strongest freaking part of my garden? The goddamn grape plants. You want to know why? Because she took what needed love, and she tied it together and made it a team. And then it became the strongest part of that plant. If you look at the base of my grapevines, they are strong. And a year ago, that would have never happened. A year ago, you could have touched them and they probably would have just fallen over and just wilted and just been like, bleh. Like, right? Seriously, you guys. But that happens sometimes in our business, okay? And I know that I make that mistake too. I see you running. I see you as a rock star. I see you, and sometimes I think, oh, they don't need me. I don't even need to check in with them. I'm a human being and I make mistakes too, okay? You're different than a plant. You can speak up. So I'm being transparent and telling you that sometimes I can't like see everything. I'm not like all knowing and all seeing, right? Like I'm not. And so sometimes like if like I know you're running, I think you don't need me. If you need me, I need you to not be afraid to tell me. Okay? Tell me, hey, some of my branches are falling. Can you come tie me up? Can you come tie me up? I want to tie you up. I want to do that. I do. I really do. Sometimes my disconnect is that I think you don't need me. okay? Just like I thought my grape plants didn't need me, but they did. They did. So my grape plants are doing fantastic, by the way. I cannot wait. They're starting to grow up the wall all by themselves. Like, I'm really super excited. I love them. Next, do you remember how my neighbor told me that my strawberries were all gonna die, right? He told me they were all gonna die. Not only did those little suckers not die, they have taken over my planter box, okay? So some plants are like my strawberries, and they grow in the ground and they start off slow, right? And then before you know it, they freaking just take over like wildfire. They are just freaking everywhere. If you look in the garden, there is just like strawberries just creeping all the way up the whole side. Those kinds are like, they need to be like maybe reeled in. Those are the kind of teams or legs on your chart that they catch fire. They catch fire and you see the vision and they just need direction, right? Those are like the people where you're like, maybe you have those people on your legs and they just sign, but they don't know how to chart. So what I had to do with my strawberry plants is I had to guide them, right? I had to kind of, you know, nip certain areas so that they would grow a certain way. And sometimes like we have to do that with our team too. Like I have legs that sign, and they aren't like, they're just not sure how to chart. And maybe if I had spent more time charting with them. So my strawberry plants, by the way, are doing fantastic. My neighbor doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. They're doing great. So I had to cut them and I had to love on them. And the thing with strawberries is like, yeah, they lose leaves. They don't lose the whole plant. They don't lose the whole thing. And what looks like it's dead on a strawberry isn't actually dead. So I have to spend time on that leg or those people or whatever. But it's like fine tuning. It's fine pruning, okay? I don't have to reinvent the wheel. The strawberry knows what it's doing. It knows how to grow. It knows what to do. I just have to guide it to stay inside the planter box. And sometimes we have to guide people to stay inside their lane, right? We have to, you know, maybe they're doing like a few little random things and we just got to kind of guide them. Don't be afraid to do that. It doesn't, in my mind, you become a leader the second you have people under you. People are looking up to you. That's why I teach you guys how to chart the second you become an executive. Because in my opinion, I believe that the strength of our team is not me. I'm not the strength of our team. I know that people think that, but that's not true, okay? Because the strength of any team, whether it's a CEO or like a regular business, there is a CEO at the top, right? Or like the presidential at the top or whatever the hell. That's only one person. The strength is not at the top. It's not. The strength is in all of us as one whole group, the whole group. I think strength and like dependency, all of those things happen at like that executive, Ruby. You guys are like the up and coming diamonds. And in my opinion, I think that when we cultivate, and that's what we didn't used to do. That's what we didn't used to do. And it's the same thing like the grape plants. If I would have cut off all the bottom stuff and shaved off all the bottom, eventually the base of the plant would have gotten so skinny that it would have fallen apart. So I need to love on those roots. You guys are the roots, okay? Everyone in here who is an executive or a Ruby, or a distributor, you are the root of this team. You just don't realize it. You don't realize it yet. You are the foundation. You are the biggest impact. You are it. And for number one, okay, everything positive, like leadership, in my opinion, it's like not from the top down, it's like bottom up. Like it's bottom up. I want you guys, like we literally lift each other up and come together. It's like a wolf pack. Like if you look at how a pack of wolves travels, the strongest persons, there's a strong people in the front, there's strong people in the back, and the base of everybody else is in the middle. And it's because you don't want like we set the pace, right? Like, yeah, the leader set the pace, but there's a leader in the front who is setting that pace. But there's also that foundation in the back, making sure there's nobody following behind, right? We're not missing anybody. I don't need to cut off any branches. Same thing happens with my strawberries. Just got to kind of guide them, okay? Then I have my blackberry plants, and I think Becca's on here. And I remember when I planted these blackberries, she's like, girl, be careful because these things are just gonna like, they take over. And I planted them. I thought they were bushes. I for real told her, I'm like, girl, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, this is a bush, right? Nope, not a bush. She was right. It is a thing. It's a creature. And I planted it. And you guys, if you've never planted a blackberry vine, it's not a bush, but a vine, you will learn very quickly that blackberries are they're a staple. Those things can weather any storm, okay? They are the troopers. They are the people in your organization who, it doesn't matter, they're the lifers. Those damn blackberry plants, I swear to God, I've thought they were dead like 7 or 8 times. I'm like, do I just pull them? Like, it's kind of like, okay, it's kind of like when my upline took me off of her chart. It like, oh, they thought we were dead, right? Like, well, that's just, it's a dead leg. Like, I can't, like, you know, don't revive the dead. No, I wasn't a dead leg. I was just working through my shit. So I'm a blackberry plant. I weather the storm. Whatever the storm is, I might look like I'm hurting, but I weather through it, and I'm gonna weather through it. And eventually those blackberry bushes, plants, like whatever you wanna call them, they are one of the strongest plants I have in my garden. Between the blackberries and the grapes, they're like rivaling each other. They are. They're like becoming, because of the way they grow and the way that where I placed them, they are growing into each other. And I'm gonna, I don't know, maybe I'll have black grapes. I have no idea. Maybe I'll create something. But they're people in your organization that are just the staple. They're the people who are like never gonna give up. One month they might enroll 100 customers, and the next month they're like, I'm still here, I'm still working. They're the people that are constantly planting seeds, okay? A blackberry bush, plant, whatever, it's constantly sending out feelers. It's constantly expanding itself. You might not have fruit on it all the time, but it's constantly gaining ground, okay? Those are the people in your organization who are constantly growing. Those people are important. You need those people, okay? Do not look past those people, because eventually what will happen is all of those feelers that the blackberry plant sent out, they're going to base themselves in the ground just like they have, and I will get fruit from them. And eventually what will happen to the people in your organization who are constantly building their network, who aren't afraid to talk to people, eventually all of the seeds that they are sending out there will grow into something. It is about patience, okay? Blackberry plants have patience. And sometimes we overlook those people because we don't see them enrolling, and we forget that they are just as important, okay? So there's that. I literally wrote like notes because I didn't want to forget. Then there are some plants like my spinach plants where like I planted those and I totally thought they were going to sprout, and they never showed up. They never showed up, and that's okay. I don't know what happened to the seeds. They got planted. I watered them. I loved on them. And I'm like, spinach season, like what the heck? They just never showed up. And sometimes that happens too. We love on somebody. They sign up. They go MIA. Like they ghost us. And you're like, what happened? Like, I don't even know what just happened right now. And that happens too. That happens too. And am I disappointed? Of course I am. I wanted spinach. I wanted my own spinach. I want to make my own spinach salad, right? I can't do that because it never sprouted. It never came. But does that mean do I stop building the rest of my garden because the spinach didn't show up? No, I don't do that. I make something else. Okay, the spinach didn't work. Let's do some lettuce. Let's do something else. I ended up planting peas instead, even though it's not a substitute for my salad, but that's okay. I'm like, I'm going to go a different route, whatever. I worked with what I had. I didn't have a lot of space. I worked with what I had, okay? I had X amount of space. I got to work with what I got. So some things end up like spinach, they never sprout. And then some things end up like my peas, and they just find a way, they wiggle into a small area, and I thought that they weren't gonna do anything, and out of nowhere, I'm gonna take a picture and post it in here tomorrow to show you guys. Out of nowhere, they're like up my house. And I wasn't expecting that, and sometimes that happens too. And so the moral of all of this is that sometimes things happen and they're like unexplainable. And that's where like leadership, there is no master plan for leadership. It's versatile. You have to be willing to make changes, going with the flow. I personally, I know that I need to work on diversity more, because of course I look at what I am. I want to be with what I attract, right? But you guys have all taught me, just like my garden has, is that diversity is what makes this whole experience so beautiful, because we all bring something completely different to the table, all right? Completely different. And leadership is always developing, just like a gardener, right? A gardener is always developing his garden. He's always planting seeds. And there are times in a farmer and a gardener's, you know, life where they have bad seasons, where their crops die, but they don't quit because they are a farmer. You guys, we are network marketers. We are It Works distributors. I do not care what happens to my garden. I will keep planting. The same thing happens in my business. I don't care what happens in my business. I will keep going. I keep planting the seeds. I keep watering on the seeds. I keep, depending on what the plant is, where the whatever, I have to learn how to be versatile, to look at each leg and realize what each one needs me. Because honestly, not everybody needs the same thing. Some people, yes, some people are a seed and they need you to love on them. They really do. And if you want to be a strong leader, sometimes we have to look inside ourselves and we have to make some changes. And I know that I have had to do that too. I have had to look at myself in the mirror and be like, hey, all right, like I know my method is, like I just wish everyone would just be a full plant and get in here and just get it done and leave and go, like let's do this. But that's not the case. It's not, okay? More often than not, you're gonna have more seeds than you're gonna have full-grown plants. And I would rather, honestly, looking back now, I would rather plant more seeds, an abundance of seeds, and love on them and have a much bigger harvest, that being our checks, have a much bigger harvest than banking on only 5 plants and maybe nothing comes out of it. I'd rather have more than not enough. And so the reason that like it just dawned on me today is because this team is pushing, and I know you guys are, and I know that a lot of us have come out of the woodworks. You know, some of us have gone MIA for a while. Some of us haven't. I thought it was ironic that people in Las Vegas, I'm a part of a gardening group, and people in Las Vegas were like, if you don't have a greenhouse, everything in your garden will die. Your basil plant's gonna die. There's no point. You might as well just rip it out. I'm gonna send you guys a picture tomorrow. My basil plant is totally not dead. It's reseeding itself. So I know that people think this business has seasons, and sometimes it might. Sometimes your life has seasons. That's okay. But you know what? I changed the way that my garden watered itself. I just gave it a different love. And sometimes you have to do that too. In the winter season, I do expos. I make sure that I'm constantly planting seeds, constantly, so that when tax season, tax boom, whatever you guys want to call it, or in gardening, spring season, like that's the boom, there is something to actually harvest. Because if you don't do that, when it comes time, you'll have nothing. And that's why I harp on you guys, and I sound like a broken record over and over and over again about the same thing. It's because I know I've only been in the business 3 years, but we learned pretty quickly. So, moral of this whole story, okay? Obviously, yes, leadership has changed. Leadership is changing constantly. I am constantly changing. We have new leaders in this team page. We have people stepping up to the plate. I'm so proud of you guys. I'm so proud of you guys, all right? So proud. So I want you to know that I am, and the other leaders are looking deeper in our charts. We are identifying people that we see doing things. The thing is, if you're silent, like if you're not active at all on the team page or on the diamond chats and you're not enrolling, we don't know that you're working. You can work in silence, that's fine. But don't be afraid to give your opinion. Be active, be known, okay? Be known. And I want you to know that we're making a much bigger effort to start showing you how to be leaders and be self-sufficient once you start hitting, each layer has a different set of leadership styles. Executive, ruby, emerald, diamond, double, triple, presidential, like that. They all have different layers of what that leadership looks like. And me, my husband, Paris, Caroline, Araceli, everybody's working really hard to make sure that you guys are going to be provided those things. So I just wanted to get on here. I want to tell you guys, number one, how much I appreciate you. Number two, we're farmers. We're farmers. We're gardeners. We're farmers. We plant seeds, we nurture them, and then we harvest them. And it matters. It matters. It all matters. So hopefully my rambling about like my different types of plants didn't like freak you guys out or whatever, but I saw a vision, and I saw, like when I took a step back in my backyard, I was like, holy crap. And then I came inside the house and I looked at my e-suite and I'm like, holy crap, it's the same thing. Like it was amazing. The correlation was insane. So like I said, we love what we love you guys. And I know I saw some comments on here like, yeah, the team, we do need each other. And I think that we have all gotten really super close, much closer than I think we've ever been. So I love you all very much. I am going to take some pictures of my garden so you guys can see what the heck I'm talking about. And yeah, if you guys need something, don't be afraid to ask. That's what your diamond chats are for. They are there so that you have a place to ask questions, okay? So do that. If you are confused, you don't understand, you don't know what to do, ask. No question should go unanswered. That is what that diamond chat is for. That is why we put it there, okay? So ask, and we will be there to help you, all right? Mwah!